Hey, what's up, Running Fishing? I'm going to give you a little tip here. It's a little glimpse into one of the things that I do that's a little different, and it's thinking outside the box. And I like to apply, I call it the marginal fishing theory. Well, in regards to bait selection, we get to these points, especially this year with all the fishing pressure, where there's common, sorry if the bait's actually making a lot of noise. There's common perceptions when it comes to when fishing pressure, is on or fishing gets tough. And we see it in like community holes, lakes where there's a lot of people on there, and certain spots just keep getting hit and hit and hit and hit. And these fish see a lot of stuff. What's the first thing you usually do? You usually downsize, or you go natural presentations, whether that be certain colors or certain hues. And if you go to like Tackle Warehouse or the Hookup or whatnot, you'll see that certain colors are just constantly sold out, right? They're popular. And even certain bait manufacturers now are like downsizing a lot of their production to just certain colors, and you'll see that. And that's because, yeah, obviously they don't sell very well. Well, here's my thought on some of this stuff. So nowadays, I've noticed fishing recently, especially, I can go down there. Yeah, I can downsize and maybe get a bite, or I can change the color or go to a more natural tone, but everybody's doing it. So when everybody's doing it, it's just like when nobody's doing it, in my opinion. Not that you can't still get, fish, but there's certain times where those type of corrections really don't do anything for you because everybody else is doing those type of corrections. Now, granted, in that theory that I mentioned, the fish is his own variable with his own set of variables underneath there in that equation. And sometimes just doing that does have an effect, but there's a lot of times now where it doesn't. Like I said, in a lot of situations, downsizing and changing to a more natural presentation or color scheme is like doing nothing because everybody's doing it. So what I do is I do the exact opposite. Now, what am I saying? I'm not throwing the biggest gaudy baits in the world, but what I'd like to do to start off with is change color schemes. And the kind of color schemes that I go to are usually 3 different kinds of colors, and one's super hard to find now. But I want to give you one of them, and I'm going to show you this. And I'm going to probably link it down below. At least I can, a link from the Amazon account that I talked about in my last video. Hey, you can help a guy out. You can click on there. You can buy something. I get a little, they're supposed to give me a little commission. I don't know what is it going to do? Buy me a Coke? Maybe, but it's better than nothing, right? So anyway, check it out. So I'm going to give you this color scheme, and it's not necessarily the bait, but this is having to be a Realis crankbait. But you look at that's a chartreuse thing. You think, well, yeah, a lot of guys fish this stuff, but maybe not in clear water. So what I'm saying is you go against the conventional wisdom. But what I like to do is actually use this super dark colors, and then I like to use a goldfish color a lot of times. And this is what I'm talking about in like clear water when you typically would change to a natural bait. I go to the exact opposite. I do these gaudy chartreuse, but even this is a little transparent though, but it has the chartreuse overtones. And then like the goldfish one, if you can actually find a goldfish color, which I used to make a lot of, and I have a few, they're pretty awesome. And they'll have, actual gold, and they're super effective at times. And it goes back, when I got into the goldfish thing, is actually watched somebody toss a goldfish out and these bass just annihilate it. But it's interesting that changes like this that aren't necessarily in the conventional wisdom, they go to the thing that actually makes your bait stand out a little bit more. It turns out to be really effective. And like I said, colors like this, dark silhouetted colors, like who would think, well, I know some of you guys probably do, to throw something like this, or throw a black or a straight purple, if you can find it. Or purple, you can see further, further down, but these or like, how about that goldfish? But some of these colors, they do something. They either enhance the bait's profile, which is like the super dark colors do, or the purple you can see further down, or this obfuscates the profile. And so either way, you could be triggering something you might not otherwise trigger, or the fish are seeing something completely different if they're constantly getting hammered with, the conventional wisdom stuff. But anyhow, there's, I'm just talking about color. Now you can get into profiles, some really outlandish profiles you wouldn't think would work, but they do, especially in pressured waters. But like I said, check out different color schemes. I'm not saying that these are the ones you should throw, but these are the ones that I'd like to throw. Like I said, this super chartreuse in clear water, dude, it works. Or that smoky bone I've talked about in the past, that's a matte, just white. And like, what looks like matte white? Well, under the water, it might look a shed. I don't know, but all I know is it's something different than most people don't throw. They'll throw a lot of different colored baits, but not necessarily that. So I like to do that. And you know what this really shines in? What I found in certain lakes where there is those community holes where you go to, and like they're good even with the normal baits. Maybe getting one, but you know fish hang out there, and there's a reason why all these anglers go there. But if you watch the anglers there, they're throwing the same stuff. They're throwing one of 3 shades of a certain crankbait. They're throwing, you know, a drop shot with one of 3 different baits that, you know, you always see, the guy that wins the tournament always talks about in the little newsletter or whatever, right? Sometimes you go in there with something completely off the wall, and you can trigger, because the fish are there, right? So you can trigger them to do something that they might not otherwise do. It's you know, getting those fish that are on the margin there. And sometimes it is these baits. I do, however, you know, I said shape. I do, however, I love the shape like a Realis bait's the natural profile of the bait. I do like to stick to that. I like to change the color first. But anyway, that's a quick like kind of tip. If you're on a really high pressured water, you don't necessarily always have to downsize or go to a natural color. Sometimes you just do the exact opposite. Do the thing that with color that nobody else would think about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Drop shot a pink Cinco or something like that. I've seen that one work. The bubblegum color in a Cinco. That's actually a pretty effective color, not just for the bedfish. But anyway, just try something new. When the sport's becoming more and more competitive, like it is, and there's more and more people on the water, the guy that thinks outside the box, oftentimes maybe he won't win all the time, but there's going to be a couple times where that little tweak is going to be the difference. And having a great day, winning that tournament, placing in the money, catching the fish of a lifetime, it's going to be the difference. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Like, subscribe, check out I got a Patreon. Now, what I'm going to do with that, like I said, you're going to get on there. There's going to be some exclusive material. Right now, I'm coming up with stuff, so there's not too much on there. But when you do, if you enter now, if you've been on there for at least 3 months, you're going to be in a drawing. Hopefully, if we get enough people, I need to have at least 100. We need to get 100 people on there subscribed. Once I get that, if you've been on there for more than 3 months, you're going to be put in a drawing every, twice a year to go fish with me. And then if I happen to just be around there, if you're a Patreon member, I might be able to pick you up anyway and just go fishing. But these 2 drawings are special events. They're going to be at a lake of my choice. And believe me, I'm going to choose. I got 2 lakes already in mind that are just spectacular. And whether it be, some of them we're going to have to, it's weather dependent and seasonal dependent. But if you get drawn for one of these, it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Chance of a lifetime to catch some remarkable fish. And these ones this year are going to be probably pretty remote. So you got to just get out there, and we'll go camping and take 3 days and go fishing on some of the most spectacular lakes in the Western United States. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. Like, subscribe, peace, and hit the Patreon.